It is another edition of the Play Space Live. Hello there, I'm Keith Avalone from Play Games. Sam is producing the show tonight. A little bit different look tonight. We've had a few technical issues to deal with, but it's part of streaming in the year 2022. We're about to release two new Play Now games next week. One of them you're familiar with, Dodgeball World Tour. We spent some time playing with that last week. The other one is a game called Planet Flipper, designed by Daryl Durston. It is the first game that we've published that we didn't design ourselves, and super excited about it. And we're welcoming Daryl into the play space this evening. Hello, Daryl.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good to see you guys.
Really happy to have you with us this evening. We do want to let the live viewers know that they're welcome to chime in with questions. This is like a Q&A with Daryl, so we want the audience to chime in with their cues, and Daryl will provide the A's. Daryl, let's start by letting people get to know you a little bit. This is a new community to you, the Play community, and we're all excited to kind of welcome you into the family. It is kind of like a family. And maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I grew up and raised in Ontario, California. Been playing board games pretty much my whole life, but hobby games jumped in later in the years, maybe 2013 or so. I teach elementary PE. I've been doing that for almost 8 years or so. And aside from playing board games, I think other things I do from time to time is, since I teach PE, every now and then we'll play basketball or Cube, for those who know what that one is. And I like every now and then doing 5K runs. So I guess that's myself in a nutshell.
Very nice. So you're like the modern day equivalent of the gym teacher then, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of people have these moments of angst when they remember gym class when they were, in elementary school. And I imagine you probably have some tactics that you employ to, minimize the angst.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, speaking of that, because I've always enjoyed PE, and I've also noticed, of course, a lot of students, when I was a classmate with them, tend not to like PE. So growing up, I just realized this, and then becoming a PE teacher myself and remembering that, I've taken a lot of board game stuff and board games, card games and whatnot, and turned those into a variation for PE. So I try my best to not stay away from the major sports, but kids seem to enjoy more so of activity-based games than actual sport games, and I think it's a little more welcoming. So actually, yeah, I use board games a lot in my PE classes.
But you don't use sports games.
What was that?
You don't use sports games, though, sports board games.
No, not yet. So that's something I'll have to try out and see how the kids take up to it.
Have you played any sports games at all, sports board games at all?
Actually, I only 1.5, and I say half, and I'll explain. So, baseball highlights, 2024, I believe.
2045. That's Mike Fitzgerald's game. Yes, he's a friend to play.
Yeah, that one I enjoyed a lot. I had a friend show me, and really enjoyed it. And then I think the other one was bottom of the ninth.
Right.
And say that one's my half because I learned it from a friend, and then we partially played it, and then we had to stop for some reason, and I never got to play it again. So that's where I'm at on my sports themed board games.
You were talking about the games, and you mentioned board games, and then you mentioned hobby board games, and so I think there may be people that don't really understand the difference between that. Maybe you could talk real quickly about that before we move on to our Planet Flipper and your involvement with Play.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like as a kid, I played back then mass-produced games, whether it's checkers or Chinese checkers or even Monopoly, Operation, things that were fairly quick to learn. Once I got older, I stopped playing board games and then jumped back into it, like I said, later on in early adulthood. and I just found out this other world of games where there's different categories, whether it's party games or deck builders or what was my one of my first ones, Revolution. It's like a bidding game. So all these little games I well, they're getting bigger now, but I feel like back then weren't mass produced. So I feel like that's why I consider the games that are I guess have a little more learning curve is what I would call like hobby board games.
So, would you consider yourself then to be a hobby board game designer?
Yeah, I would put myself in that category. Yeah,
So, Planet Flipper is going to be a hobby game. So that's good to know.
yeah.
Uh, we met you at Dice Tower West in Las Vegas, and you were part of the speed pitching event. And for those people who wonder what that might be, what they do is they give you a room full of publishers, and you take your game and you go from table to table to table, and basically you have, I guess, was it 10 minutes, Daryl? They gave you.
it, I believe it was 10. I definitely know it felt less than that, but I think it was 10 minutes.
So 10 minutes to pitch your game to as many publishers as you can fit in. So tell what was that like from your standpoint as a designer, as a game designer?
So as a game designer, I had four different games in the pitch, and so each game was at different tables. So a little nerve wracking on my end because I had to make sure once I was done with the pitch, and I had to jump to another table to pitch that one. So trying to have my best pitch for all four different games running through my head while I'm explaining another one was nerve wracking, but also exciting because that was my first pitch event in a sense, where I was able to pitch to different publishers. So, yeah, nerve wracking, fun, exciting, and it was a joy to try it out and do it that way.
Did you practice your pitches like before you got?
I I did the night before, and the night before I didn't feel nervous. I was good to go. And then, yeah, when it came down to it, and the room was filling up with different people, I started getting a little nervous, and I was like, "Uh oh!" And things that I had in my head, I didn't say, and it just, I feel like I fumbled the first pitch. Just, I said what I think what I wanted to say, but it didn't come out the way I prepped it. So it was I feel like a little miss there.
Well, we thought you did a great job when you pitched to us, and as you mentioned, you had a number of different games that you were pitching, but the one that really caught our eyes was a solitaire game. It was a your working title was Dark Crisis, and we'll talk a little bit about the original theme of the game here in a bit, but. The fact that it was a solitaire game was really I think it was the only real solitaire game we saw that night, and maybe you could talk a little bit about what prompted you to make a solitaire game. Was that like the first game you made, and the other games kind of followed behind that, or what was your thought process behind making a solitaire game?
Yeah, so I actually the solitaire game, Dark Crisis or Planet Flipper, I wasn't my first design. Actually, as a when I started out designing games, I started too big. So I had this big idea, and it was just too much to encompass. Based off my ability back then, because I was just getting started. So once I found out that it's probably best to start small and then gauge out from there, I was able to design different games, whether it's mainly card games. But yeah, once I tried a few of those games out, I just decided to design a solo game just because I started enjoying playing solo games, and I felt like the biggest or like hardest solo game would be making your own game. So I started trying out making a solo game that I felt that I would enjoy to play and be happy to purchase.
Mm-hmm. So, what to you? What do you think are some of the important things for a solitaire game? Maybe as compared to a multiplayer game. Are there specific things you think are important to a solitaire game, or maybe there are things that you think transcend all kinds of games that are important for a solitaire game? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So going into the one I designed, Planet Flipper, was I wanted struggle and I wanted conflict, and obviously since there's not other players to give you that conflict, I I really wanted to make something that when you're playing the game, you have these decisions that might not be as easy. And there goes the conflict of, do I, build this card or use this card to save for later or discard it? And um, with that, along with that, I liked also the fact where I think for myself in solo games, it's always good to have multiple options within one card. So I felt like having that drew more of a conflict while you have this timer, in a sense, of time running out before you were able to accomplish what you needed to. So I would say overall conflict in a game for solo.
It's the first play game that we've ever published that doesn't use dice. Did you ever? did you ever? I mean, I guess it really isn't. Dice aren't really appropriate for what Planet Flipper does. Maybe you could talk about that. Why don't you need dice for this game?
Yeah, this one, I tried my best to design a game where uh, there was almost no luck. I would say there's some luck, of course, depending on when the cards come up.
Right.
But I wanted to make something that I felt was challenging to where you were almost always feeling you weren't going to beat the game until maybe you did. So I just felt like if I didn't add dice, then having the person just solely make their decisions from the cards would make it that more challenging or difficult.
Mm-hmm. So it was originally called Dark Crisis. Maybe why don't you just talk about the original theme rather than me talking about it? I want you to talk about what was Dark Crisis originally.
Dark Crisis originally was a sci-fi themed solo game where it was titled Dark Crisis just because it was set in space. Space is somewhat dark, and the theme of it was also, in a sense, dark because you and your other astronauts were going to the planet. It didn't work out. They ended up dying. So you're the last person. You're the solo person that needs to survive. And so having this dark tragedy happen, it was up to you as the person left to try and make your ability to live on this planet that's currently inhabitable, and you had to make it so you could live on this planet to get off within the seven rounds of 7 years. So I just like the fact of like it being a dark theme with the title having it being Dark Crisis within it.
Right. It's a great theme. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the theme. We were impressed playing it and watching it. We just felt that maybe we could spin it. I remember Sam and I were on a walk. We walk our dog Millie each day right around noon, and we talk about various business things. And we were talking about Dark Crisis on that walk and thinking, it's a great game. Maybe there's a different spin on it though that would be a little bit less dark because a dark themed game didn't really seem to us to fit on Play Now, and yet we really liked the game and really wanted to publish it. So we came up with this home renovation theme. The idea where it's basically the same thing. You're on this planet. You've got to convert it quickly to a hospitable planet. The only thing is missing is the death. So
exactly.
We're swapping death for like profit. So instead of doing this to survive, you're doing it in order to create profit. Like I like the home. Now, do you watch the home renovation shows like Flip or Flop or Extreme Home Makeover? You do. So
yes, me and my wife from time to time will watch it.
What is the drama of those shows, and do you think that translates to a game?
I think the drama of the show is just the fact of when they're trying to decide which houses they want, and they're going through the rooms and figuring like, oh hey, if we get this house, we could demolish this area and make this look better with doing whatever it is, whether it's the backyard or whatnot. And then they go through the process of, are they going to get the house based off the price they want? And like you were just mentioning how that ends up showing, I think, perfectly within Planet Flipper because you're trying to do just that and make the planet, just like on the shows, better than when you got there in order to get that profit. So I think it's a really cool idea.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that we were able to, get on the same page. Well, not that we weren't on the same page. It's like I'm glad we came up with a common theme that works. I really do feel like the idea is fun. And me and my wife watch those shows as well. And there is drama as to like, wow, are they gonna hit the budget, or there's always those points of drama during the show where you wonder what's going to happen or how they're going to pull it off. And I think the game kind of captures that in a lot of different ways too. So
Yeah.
I think it's super fun. Are there other games you're working on right now?
Yeah, there's none of them currently just solo, but I have one currently that I call Squirrel Scramble. It's 1 to 2 players, and it's a worker placement game, a very small worker placement game, where they're just trying to get various foods to turn those foods into points and whatnot to have the most points at the end of the game. And there's another one that I'm working on called Brewhouse Coffee, where it's just a car where everyone's a barista and they're trying to get the orders as fast as they can, faster than their other employees, to become Employee of the Month. What else? There's another one. I'm currently blanking on the name. And of course, the ones that you guys also saw at Dice Tower West.
Right. Well, you can't go wrong with the coffee themed game, that's for sure. and,
Exactly.
we did like the gem mining game that you showed us, and we may revisit that once we get Planet Flipper up and running. Sam, did we get any questions from the studio audience?
No, I don't see any.
We don't have any. Okay, well, I guess everybody's fascinated with what you already said, so we'll leave it at that, I guess. Let's go ahead and show them the game. Are we going to be able to do that, though?
There's no game cam. I can kind of
show the box.
I don't know if there's really much. Yeah, maybe you just want to show the cards. I don't know.
All right. This is what they're seeing, right?
Yes.
What I'm seeing there. Okay, so there's the box. I know Daryl can. I don't think Daryl can see us,
Daryl
but he has a copy of this as well. And all the artwork for this was created by Sam. Sam did a really great job of creating the artwork for this. I'm gonna show you the inside.
We're gonna do a stream on Monday, kind of doing this in more detail. I think so. Maybe you want to.
Not
I think
open
they
it.
can. No. You can show them,
Oh,
but
okay.
if anybody wants, better pictures of what they're seeing,
Right.
that will be coming.
So this opens. I want to kind of hold it open like this. So there's the instructions, the instruction booklet, and this is. Probably shouldn't have done this because the quality of the camera is not that great. There's the game board, and this is the cool part. We made a little insert for the box. There's a place to put the cards, right there, and a place to put the pawns and the cubes, and it's got kind of a nice Planet Flipper theme. I'll show you the cards real quick. Comes in a little cellophane bag. This is the deck of cards, and they're all rounded corners. What can I show you? They've got let's see. I can show them to the camera like this.
Yeah, you should be able to hold them up. I think autofocus is on, so it should.
There's the power plant card. And there's the these are double-sided cards too. There's this on this side, and then you can upgrade it to that.
Well, the cargo you don't upgrade, so it's the same picture.
All right. Well. Anyway, so these are the cards. These are the event cards, and these things happen like once per turn, where you might, in this case, I can't see it.
System's clear.
Your planet is peaceful for now. So, anyway, so those are the cards. You get a deck of these cards and all the other materials that we just talked about. So, it'll be on sale Monday, along with Dodgeball World Tour. Monday we'll have a stream where we can show how the game works. But we thought we'd let you get to know Daryl on tonight's stream. And Daryl, we certainly appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for hanging with us through the technical difficulties. I don't know, once we sign off, we got to get back over to the other computer for what the heck just went wrong with it. So we do appreciate you joining us tonight. That is our stream for this evening, and thank you for joining us as well. Appreciate you being here. Be sure to hit the like button as you take off tonight, and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday right here on the PlaySpace Live.